funny thing happened last week, and I just want to share this with you. My good friend Warner Mendenhall and I were on a phone call, and he said, "Oh, I got to go. I'm going to be on Dr. Drew." And I said, "Hey, while you're on the show, give a shout out to my movie, Epidemic of Fraud, because Dr. Drew's never mentioned it." And Warner said, "He's never mentioned it." And I was like, "Yeah, and he's in it." And Warner's like, "He's in it." And I was like, "Yeah." So we talked about it for a few minutes, and then I said, "Nah, don't say anything. Don't waste your time talking about my stuff." But Warner, being Warner, as soon as he goes on the show, he does his great interview, and then at the very end, he mentions to Dr. Drew, like, "Hey, you're in this movie. I saw it. It's great." And Dr. Drew had no idea about Epidemic of Fraud at all, and it was kind of a fun moment on the show. So after that happened, I was, very, very happy that Dr. Drew and Warner had the conversation about my film. Who wouldn't be? Well, turns out this week, or over the weekend, YouTube banned that episode of Dr. Drew from their platform. And now they said it was for other elements of the interview with Warner, and another episode it was also banned. But I think it's very interesting that censorship still exists, and it still raises its ugly head, and I can only hope and pray that this soon comes back to bite YouTube and Google or Alphabet or whoever the heck owns it in the most spectacular fashion possible. Anyway, here's the clip, and be sure to read Dr. Drew's excellent, impassioned response to YouTube censorship, which I've linked to below on Twitter, and then also I've made it right below this post, so you can easily read it at brokentruth.tv. And hey, go see Epidemic of Fraud at epidemicoffraud.com. Bye.
We certainly have our communication with this administration. We're going to have much more than we had under the Biden one. And by the way, I saw you in a movie recently. I don't know if you know this. You're in Epidemic of Fraud. You're actually in that movie. There's some clips of you.
What is that? What is that movie?
It's a movie about, it's a documentary about the fraud in the hospitals. So you're in there, so you should check it out. It talks about the hydroxychloroquine scam, the remdesivir, the protocol treatments, and all the incentives that were built in to have these hospitals really mistreat their patients. So good movie, you're in there.
Well, let's look at it. Epidemic of Fraud, and there have been so many distortions of reality and motivational distortions that I just want us. I don't want to put. I mean, you're going to have to lay blame in order to get people to change, but I just want us to look at where things went wrong and change it so we don't ever do this again.